Hey everyone, I'm back. I've been missing in action for a while. Maybe some of you have noticed that I've not been around, and maybe some of you have not noticed, and that's okay. I actually was hit with a loss in our family a few weeks back, which really threw me off and shattered my heart to a million pieces. And of course, when something tragic happens in your life, you can't think straight. And so my first reaction was, life is so short. It changes in an instant. I'm going to quit YouTube. I can't do this anymore. And as a few weeks have gone by, I realized that this kind of is my happy place. And this kind of does take my mind off of things, which I think is very healthy to have something to just kind of focus on that will help you kind of like take your mind off of negative things. So I'm making some videos. I'm going to try to make as many as I can. There may be some weeks where I'm having a hard time and I just can't make a video. So hopefully you guys understand that. I am happy to be back. I've, missed making videos. I've missed editing. It's just, like I said, takes my mind off of things. And so today I thought I would do a video featuring 10 of my favorite fragrances from 2022. Now, these aren't necessarily fragrances that were released in 2022, but they are fragrances I acquired in 2022 that I really do like a lot. And so, yeah, if you're interested in knowing what those 10 fragrances are, definitely keep watching. Hi everyone, welcome back to Sasha Scents. I'm Sasha. And on this channel, I mostly do fragrance reviews. So if you enjoy that type of content, I really do hope you'll take a minute to subscribe. And then you can hit that notification bell, every time I upload a new video. And if you end up liking this video, if you want to give it a thumbs up, that would be absolutely fantastic. And I'm excited about this new year, 2023. I have some New Year's resolutions, one of which is an obvious one would be to add more fragrances to my already big collection, but there's a few fragrance houses that I'm keeping my eye on that I would really like to add to my collection that I don't have any fragrances from. And then another New Year's resolution that I want to do is to read the Bible cover to cover. I've done it twice before, but with everything that's happened recently, I'm kind of wanting to get back into doing that again. So that is my New Year's resolution, as well as drinking a lot more water. Anyway, I would love to know what your New Year's resolutions are. Definitely comment that down below. And so without further ado, let's just get into these 10 fragrances that I really, really love from 2022. And the very first one I want to talk about is Sana Eau de Parfum by Blend Oud. This is a really nice fragrance. If you've tried Lyra from Jirjoff, then this is very similar. In my opinion, I like this one better. It's a little more sweet. So if you like that sweetness in your fragrance, then this is definitely one you may want to check out. This has a really nice blood orange in the opening that mixes with some cinnamon. And it kind of reminds me as if you've taken out a freshly baked orange cake and then you've drizzled it with some caramel and it's still warm and that caramel kind of sinks into that delicious cake. That's what this definitely reminds me of. You're also getting some licorice, and I adore licorice in my fragrances. I just think it's an added bonus. There's just something about licorice that just, But anyway, there's also that caramel accord, as I mentioned, and some vanilla, as well as musk. So it's got some creaminess in here. It's an all-around really nice fragrance. This is one of those fragrances that I would recommend. You could probably wear this one year-round. I've been enjoying this one in the colder month. I think it really stands out. It's very cozy, very comforting, an all-around really nice fragrance that can be worn by both men and women. So it's unisex. It's very long-lasting. So if you enjoy fragrances that really make an impression, they have great projection and last a super long time, not only on your skin, but your clothes as well, then this is definitely one that I highly recommend to you. And again, that was Sana by Blend Oud. All right, next is Replica by the Fireplace, Eau de Toilette by MAISON Margiela. Now, this is one of those fragrances that literally, when you first spray this, it smells like you've been standing a little too close to an open fire pit and all the smoke has kind of blown in your direction and you're covered with that smokiness. You're definitely going to get that with this particular fragrance. However, that will dissipate. That smokiness will stay there, but it becomes less and less intense as this dries down on your skin. Anyway, it has this really nice clove opening that mixes with a pink pepper. You're also going to get hints of chestnut. There's some gaiac wood in here as well as some vanilla. And that vanilla really does start to come through. It kind of reminds me a little bit of roasting marshmallows on an open fire, how you have that sweetness from that marshmallow. That's what that vanilla kind of reminds me of in here. There's also some Peru balsam as well as cashmere. So overall, really nice, very strong in the beginning. But those that don't like a strong smokiness, give this one time. I promise you the dry down is just absolutely delicious. But again, this one was Replica by the Fireplace by Maison Margiela. All right, next is Contessa Eau de Parfum by Moresque. Let's just take a look at this bottle. I think their bottles are absolutely beautiful. They are works of art, and the juice inside is no exception. It opens with this really nice star anise as well as nutmeg. And I don't know what it is about this particular combination of everything going on in the opening, but it kind of reminds me a little bit like root beer, kind of like a root beer float. And then you get a little bit of bergamot, but only a slight hint of it. It's not overpowering. You're going to get that pink pepper as well as a hint of a soft powdery rose. There's tonka bean in here as well as vanilla, and that vanilla and musk create a real nice creaminess to this particular fragrance, which creates such a sexy, sophisticated, kind of elegant dry down that I think really stands out. It smells very expensive. It's one of those fragrances that people are going to come up to you and want to know what you're wearing because it is very different. It definitely stands out, projects very, very well, past an arm's length, and it stays in this bubble around you. And then it lasts a really long time, not only on my skin, but on my clothes as well. And this one I've been wearing a lot in the fall and winter, like with a big scarf. And when I take my scarf off, and then like 2 or 3 days later, I grab that scarf, I can still smell this on there. And I just absolutely love this one. And again, this was Contessa by Moresque. All right, next is Bosphorus Pearl Eau de Parfum by ALGHABRA. I want to point out this bottle because what's really unique about this bottle is you see the label in the front, but then when you turn it over, there's like a painting of a lighthouse with a woman standing there on the balcony overlooking the ocean. This is a gorgeous fragrance. Now, the best way I can describe this particular perfume is if you're familiar with Parfums de Marly, Delina or Delina Exclusive, this is very reminiscent of that. I think it's absolutely stunning. The opening is a lot like the original Delina, but then the dry down becomes creamier like the Delina Exclusive. So it's kind of the best of both worlds in this bottle. Now this opens with a really nice rose, but it's a modern rose. It's not like an old-fashioned type of rose. It's definitely modernized in here. It's kind of sweet. It's a little bit powdery, kind of jammy, if that makes sense, and mixes with a lily of the valley as well as jasmine tea. So a really nice, stunning, I think very feminine type of opening. And then as it starts to dry down, it really warms up on your skin. You're going to get this really nice rich amber, some white musk, as well as some dry woods. And like I said, very similar to both Delinas. Love this one. This will last forever. Forever on your skin and clothes. I was amazed by the longevity and the projection of this particular fragrance. Very, very impressive. So again, if you love the Delinas, then you will definitely enjoy this particular fragrance. I highly recommend this one. And again, this was Bosphorus Pearl by ALGHABRA. All right, next I have Sandalwood and Oak Eau de Parfum by Sense of Wood. If you're not familiar with Sense of Wood, you need to get online and check out their fragrances. I had gotten a little sample of and wore it around the house, and my husband, who doesn't normally stop me about what fragrances I'm wearing, actually said, "What are you wearing? That smells absolutely incredible." And so that prompted me to make a purchase. So I bought this particular fragrance, and I'm so glad that I did. This is a stunner. Now, the thing with Sense of Woods, they take their organic alcohol and they age them in these oak barrels, so it really pulls the scent of the barrels, and then they add the notes to make an absolute masterpiece. And this one is definitely a masterpiece because they added sandalwood in here, which is really rich. It's very woodsy. And then it mixes with some sugar, but it's not overly sweet. And then there's a little bit of pink pepper as well as some sage and orris root. As this dries down, you're going to really be able to pick up on the guaiac wood. There's some vanilla as well as musk, and so you're going to get that creaminess on your skin. This is a unisex fragrance. Performance-wise, wow, this projects really, really well. It's one of those fragrances, it will enter a room before you do and will gracefully stay for a while after you've already left. People will know that you've been somewhere by this scent, and it just lasts a really long time on the skin as well as the clothes. I highly recommend checking out Scents of Woods. They've got a lot of different fragrances to choose from. I'll put a link to them in the description box. For all of these fragrances, I'll put a link so that you can find them easily. But again, this was Sandalwood and Oak by Scents of Wood. All right, this next fragrance is VENCHI Eau de Parfum by HERVE Laurent. This is another fabulous unisex fragrance, and this one has stolen my heart. I absolutely love HERVE Laurent. I have quite a few of their fragrances, and it's just an absolute treat whenever I get one of their fragrances. But this particular one, it's that tobacco note in here. It kind of has that sweet pipe tobacco in here that I absolutely love. Now this opens with a really nice saffron, as well as some jasmine, but what really stands out to me in the opening is the warm ginger. Slightly spicy, just warm, very inviting. It mixes with a Sicilian bergamot, and then you're going to get hints of oud. Now, I don't really pick up on the oud that much, maybe just a slight hint of it. So if you're afraid of oud, don't be scared. It really does not stand out that much in this particular fragrance. What really stands out then is the tonka, as well as amber, and of course that tobacco note and vanilla, so it's got a slight sweetness to it. It's creamy. This is a great performer. It projects nicely. It does get a little bit closer to the body, but it's not a skin scent. You're still going to get this soft bubble that just kind of is there. You're going to get wafts of it, especially if you're moving your arms around. You're going to get wafts of this as you walk by people. They're going to notice this. It is very seductive. It's very inviting. It's very classy. So if you like those types of fragrances, then I would definitely check out VENCHI by HERVE Laurent. All right, next I have Vanilla Woods Eau de Parfum by the Seven Virtues. I actually picked this particular fragrance up at Sephora. This one stopped me in my tracks. I had to have this one, and I'm so glad that I purchased it. It's just absolutely decadent. This is probably one of the sweetest fragrances I have. So if you like really sweet fragrances, then this is definitely one to check out. This has a very ripe, juicy pear. It also has some vanilla in there, and what this reminds me of is if you took poached pears and you just laid them on top of some vanilla ice cream and then drizzled caramel on top of that. And there's also some amber. And I do get that amber, but just a soft hint of it. You're mostly going to get that vanilla, caramel, and pear. So now a little goes a long way. You don't want to overspray this one, especially if you're going to go out somewhere and you're going to be in the car with someone. You might choke them out. Let this kind of, sit on your skin for an hour before going anywhere, and it'll be just right. But it's long lasting, projects really well. It definitely has gotten me a lot of compliments this past year. And who doesn't like getting a compliment when they're wearing a fragrance? If you like compliments and you love sweet, decadent kinds of perfumes, then definitely check out the Vanilla Woods by the Seven Virtues. Next I have Les Appartements de Madame de Florian Eau de Parfum by Aurora per Charles Wong. This is a sexy, spicy, fun, sophisticated type of fragrance that works great for both men and women. In my opinion, I think this one leans a little bit more on the feminine side, but a man could certainly pull this one off, no doubt. I love the opening in this. Like I said, it's got a little bit of a spiciness to it. It opens with some laurel as well as absinthe. And then if you like black currant in your fragrance, it is detectable, as well as a beautiful ripe melon that mixes with some incense. So it's a slight smokiness in here, and then as it dries down, you have this rich and sophisticated amber and vetiver. So very well done. This will stand out. This will project from your skin. It does get you compliments. I love that it is a head turner. I've worn this a few times and people have literally stopped me and asked what I'm wearing because it is so unique. And when I say unique, when I first got this particular fragrance, there were only 40 bottles in the world. I don't know how many are left. And I'm going to put Charles Wong's information in the description box. You'll need to contact him directly because there are no online sites selling this particular fragrance. So like I mentioned, his information will be in the description box. If you want to get your hands on this fragrance, please do so. I think it's phenomenal. It projects really well. It lasts a long time on the skin and clothes. It's just an all-around beautiful fragrance. And again, that was Le Partement de Madame de Florian Eau de Parfum by Aurora par Charles Wong. Okay, next is Kalahari Eau de Parfum by Noëme Paris. This has that whole kind of like safari vibe to me. I absolutely love this one. It opens with cardamom as well as some saffron. And the saffron is detectable in this particular fragrance. Now it's not overpowering. So if you enjoy a saffron cardamom type of opening, then this is definitely something that I recommend you look into. This is a unisex fragrance, works perfectly for both men and women. It's right down the middle. Now this also has a really nice ambrette in the opening that mixes with cedar, so you're getting some woodiness in here. And then as this dries down on your skin, it really warms up with some cashmere. You're getting a little bit of incense in here, which gives it some smokiness, and then musk, which adds that creaminess. So overall, really nice fragrance that I am just obsessed with. I've been wearing this one in the fall and winter and have truly been enjoying this. It lasts a long time on my clothes, super long time on my skin, and it projects really well. I highly recommend this one. If you enjoy those smoky types of fragrances that are not too overpowering but do stand out, then you're definitely going to want to check out Kalahari by Noëme Paris. Alright, and then last on my list, I have ATARAXIA Eau de Parfum by PEARLA, which is part of MAISON d'Orient. This actually did come out this year. They have a whole new line, PEARLA fragrances, a lot of different fragrances to choose from, and this is definitely one of my favorites. It is very reminiscent of Black Opium by Yves Saint Laurent. So if you enjoy that type of fragrance, then you'll really enjoy this particular perfume. This one is a unisex fragrance. To me, it leans a little bit more on the feminine side, but a guy could most certainly wear this one. And I notice I have a lot of unisex fragrances in this video, which is great because if you're a guy watching, there's definitely something for you as well. This opens with a really nice pink pepper, and then you're getting a nice pear accord, so that fruitiness is in there. Some soft white florals. It's not overpowering, just a hint of some flowers, and then you're getting coffee. Now the coffee accord in here is definitely more like a creamy cappuccino as opposed to an espresso. There's some fragrances that are really strong coffee fragrances. This one is more on the subtle cappuccino side, creamy, if that makes sense. And you've got that vanilla in here. And then you're going to get hints of some patchouli and musk. And that musk is where a lot of that creaminess is coming from. But I really enjoy wearing this one. Performance-wise, this one is hit or miss for me. There's some days where it doesn't last as long as other days. I get an average of about 4 to 6 hours. Now, everybody's different, so it could last a lot longer on you, or maybe it does not last as long. It just all depends on your skin. I do sometimes have to respray this one, but overall, I really like this one. It stands out to me. It smells great. It's definitely a cozy, comfortable type of fragrance that you just want to put on your big sweater. You want to spray this on. Maybe you're sitting by the fire, sipping on your coffee. You just feel relaxed and content. That's definitely what I get from this. So if you enjoy those types of fragrances, definitely check out ATARAXIA by PEARLA from Maison d'Orient. And there you have my 10 fragrances that just captured my heart in 2022. I look forward to 2023 to see what other fragrances that I'll be adding to my collection. Hey, let me know if you guys have any New Year's resolutions. I love hearing from you guys. It just, brightens my day, and I like communicating back and forth. So thank you so much for taking the time out to watch my video. I really appreciate it. Have a good one, and I'll see you again real soon.